So I want to get one thing out of my head real quick. What's really the obligation over that writing staff? What really builds them over like complete? Is this okay? Is this okay? Is this what fans think is going to be interesting to get them hooked for the next week? That's literally it. You have to be shitting me that you think I'm going to go in chronological order over a 3 hour wrestling show over 3 DQ segments, a mask, an unmasking that was already predictable. Nia Jax, the Bobby Lashley haven't even gotten a set promo. Nia Jax, Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, Drew McIntyre, MVP, Matt Riddle with 3 segments until he had his match with Orton tonight. Had more things revolving around the show than your world champion. And I understand that MVP is the proverbial hype man, but you don't even have him there like at least seeming like an inaugural force. Like, what are you guys doing? You're telling me the Raw Women's title that wasn't even the main event at WrestleMania for any of the 2 nights is more important than the world title? Come on, man. Gotta be kidding me with these Mad Max sex offenders having more screen time than Bobby Lashley with Dio Madden wearing a goddamn girdle. You have to be kidding me. This is what you want, like even younger fans, and I understand the younger fans that they either assist is either weirdo hardcore fans that pretend that the show is good, or children in terminal sickness. That's what they are accusing to. I don't know what are they doing. And it's like what and reason why Retribution attacked me, and it's like I think they're partial members of the Hurt Business, even though they broke up Retribution back at Fastlane on the kickoff, so you really knew how important it was. Mustafa Ali didn't even have much to say over the night at all. He didn't even say anything because he wasn't even at the goddamn show. So MVP come around just saying, you really gotta watch where you say that, trying to threaten him. It ends with Retribution coming around assaulting him with like a double clothesline, whatever choke slam in the middle of the ring, and then later on it'd be established that there would be a handicap match. Like it comes over with Adam Pearce just being like, "Don't do this, Drew. Don't do this. Don't do this." Like he has no authoritative will to even get him a partner, even though it's shown that he has a close relationship with the former world champion. So why not he haven't even orchestrated most of the impromptus they were getting. Strowman literally just came out later on to make this like, oh my god, a double DQ finish. One Retribution was getting out wrestled and it ends in a DQ with them overstaying their time with both of them in the middle of the ring. Like, if you want to teach it, like McIntyre a lesson, why not make it a tornado tag team handicap match? Wouldn't that be more treacherous? They didn't even bring stakes on the line over most of the night. It was just match, match, match. Like Riddle, like coming out of a loss against the world champion the last week after WrestleMania, after losing his United States title against Sheamus. Like Orton just gets a stupid backstage segment for the last 2 nights involving Matt Riddle, and the only thing over this buck faced weirdo Tarzanian blonde jobber is that he's a mild annoyance for Orton, so they're gonna wrestle tonight. Oh, and by the way, over the night I've seen 2 matches ended in crucifix. I'm not saying you can't use the crucifix for a unique night. At least there was a centralized story of Orton, I guess, underestimating Riddle. Asuka did this in a panned 13-minute match in a Mania 34 rematch. This historic rivalry, and nobody can remember the last couple spots that these women do. Like Charlotte and Asuka sucks. Y'all gotta stop lying to yourselves to bring some semblance of memorabilia into a show that really doesn't take themselves seriously. Why have the same hashed finish twice? Why do two DQ finishes in two matches in a row, especially in an impromptu, when supposedly you're trying to gain some heat over for retribution? Ugh. Even for like the Cedric Alexander and like these guys that were part of a top heel stable for the last couple months, they end up for the second week in a row having no entrance. What's what's overly the legitimacy? Like they're just forced over to be jobbers now over for Ivor and Eric that nobody even cares about. Nobody over on social media is conducting any semblance over a pop that Viking Raiders are back because that Street Profits feud killed it. These guys have no legitimate intimidating look. They're both overweight, fat, big bearded, weird dudes that don't even have a bit of muscle on them, and they're just not intimidating. Highlanders, at least, were sticking over the Neanderthalian Viking gimmick, a Scotsman gimmick more than I don't know what in the hell the Viking Raiders are. What kind of person is going to think, oh, Vikings, but the fat dude can do flips? Like, dude, come on. Handspring, knee strike. MVP would like Shelton would get a few moves in. The hot tag Viking experience, the same match. I think a majority of the card was even subjugated over with rematch purposes, and I think this is a bit unrealistic because Raw has more wrestlers than SmackDown. Oh God! And we had three or four rematches. You gotta be kidding me, man! Like we had two segments before we even build over in the show with Orton involving a promo, trying to get his title back, trying to say that the fiend stuff is right behind of him, and like everything involved, he's back on track and being the legend killer. And then Riddle makes a crap comment like, "Bro, I hate snakes, bro. We could be called arcade, bro. Come on, what is this dumb garbage, man? What are they? What's even the fixation over what Riddle? He's talking shit about. Like this guy knows he wants to be like Rob Van Dam from ECW, like a hotshot wrestler that thinks he can wrestle anywhere else but here. Like that's much better of a gimmick than whatever the hell they're having Riddle doing with this laid back weirdo like Nick Disney XD surfer dude bullshit. Like it's bad. And people are like, it wasn't that bad. It was a solid match. They weren't even constituting any cockiness of Orton. He was doing the regular match. Like none of this felt like Orton had this coming. Other than who is this guy? Who is this guy, Adam? Who is this guy? Like he's the worst authority figure I have ever seen in pro wrestling. Like a knee strike, drop kick, a power slam, near fall, elevated DDT. He was trying to go for the RKO. It ends over in a crucifix. Average match, but I know damn well Orton's possibly going to get his win back next week. Sheamus then illustrated that he wanted an open challenge. But later in the night, near the end of the main event, they illustrated the open challenge for, oh God, nothing. It wasn't even a match with Humberto Carrillo. He Humberto Carrillo came over to zero fanfare. I'd rather keep. I'd rather. What's with you guys getting these non-essential luchador mid carders with no definable muscle tone, gimmick, look, or charisma? Like it's not that hard. Like even most of the heavyweights could be like monotone, bland, no popping personality. Like even our main eventers could be some subjugated into bland territory for guys for John Cena to bury, and I'd rather have that because at least I can be like, oh my god, this is John Cena promo. I don't know any of these guys is just gonna be like, oh, you're here to shut your mouth, Miz. I'm here to shut it for you. I'm gonna kick your ass. You see GTA walking, it's bland. It just ended up in a In a non-step brawl, Sheamus just assaults him with the ref not even there, so it's just a waste of screen time. And instead of open challenge, it just ended up in okay, this is just for Humberto to just be back on TV. And I don't know the fanfare here, but Andrade gets released. Yeah, I put a video up on why Andrade sucks, but I'd rather him than Humberto. At least he was having good matches with Mysterio. I don't know what the hell this guy is. Oh man. And then Lana, Naomi, Shayna. Like, if you already have a concentrated storyline, why make them wrestle on SmackDown? I understand the women's belts are multi-brandish, but if nobody earns a title shot, what's the point of being there? They're not even continuing the Reginald storyline. He hasn't been shown in 3 weeks. Also, people that hasn't been shown in several weeks. Other than Sheamus, that wasn't even there the previous week post WrestleMania. Where's Omos and Styles? This is the second week. This is the second week. They're not main attractions. Styles just felt like he wanted to win the Raw Tag Team title. It just forced over a match. This took very little build, and yet we haven't seen them overly in 2 weeks. Where's vignettes? Why is there backstage segments involving Nia getting bothered that she slipped? And then it's like Mandy, like, oh, I'm bullying her. I'm not bullying her. I'm doing the stuff that she did to me. Like the distraction is that she slipped after she made fun of Mandy slipping. Who is this for? No child is going to rewatch that corny crap. No regular WWE fan is going to rewatch that corny crap. Lana and Naomi suck as a tag team. If you didn't see over that tag team turmoil match why they're even over the minimal of bad, Lana doesn't even look that attractive as she did years ago, bro. I'm like Irish whip, kick, elbow. Everything was going good for Shayna and Nia until Mandy and Dana come out making fun of her because she slipped on the ropes. And by the way, this was on purpose, obviously. It looked on purpose. It looked so sluggish because she's so big and broad and built like a doughboy that it just makes it look unrealistically panned out to get some instant karma on Nia just so Dana and Mandy can feud. And why the hell would they even have a registered match with two women that lost first in the tag team turmoil match? Like, it makes very little sense. So you barely have your authority figure that barely or fairly orchestrates most of the matches that hope happen more on the show. MVP seems to have more authority. I understand because he manages the world champion, but the world champion doesn't even have a vignette. He doesn't even show out to look at McIntyre beating up Retribution. And Retribution isn't awkwardly shown themselves. By the way, Kofi lost to Elias clean. So they're finally take Elias seriously. That's interesting upon its own right, because we obviously know that Elias is barely taken seriously. Like they have a guy with a look, a gimmick that gets over around the fans, an actual catchphrase, successful music, can do stuff that makes him outside of the WWE an entertaining figure, other than wrestling. And they just have him job out to Jeff Hardy, and we haven't even seen Jeff Hardy since like 2 weeks before WrestleMania, bro. Like, come on. And Kofi has gotten so worse in the ring. He can't even do a Luthez press. There was a sluggish motion for him to do the freaking SOS flying elbow drop. It ends up with freaking Hurricane Rana into a big elbow drop. Big win for Elias. I don't even know what this is definable for. Like they never said that you earn a future title shot. They never said that this was built over for anything. Other than they used to have a tag team match that was so competitive and they made fun of each other. That's the only reason why they're wrestling each other. And they're possibly going to do Riker versus Xavier Woods, where Xavier Woods is going to win because Riker isn't even built up as anything. Oh man. Then we had McIntyre versus T Bar and Mace. And then it ends over with T Bar and like beating them up until Strowman came in for the save for no reason. So now they're cool for no apparent reason. This took minimal build, and Mace and T-Bar just sloppily were holding over their masks. So we already knew it was lose. Plus, everybody know who they are. That's Dominic Dijakovic, Dio Madden, Slapjack was freaking Shane Thorne, Mia Yim was Reckoning. Whoever was that ugly chick was like Mercedes Martinez. Like, come on, man. What what kind of definable look was the freaking Retribution if they have like sex offender Mad Max masks that look like Raven made them with his crappy melatonin stable? Like, what? I don't know. Freaking Dio Madden wearing a freaking girdle with his little shemale face, and Dominic Dijakovic looking like if Lance Storm and some sort of weird ass dog had a baby in Russia. Like, come on. And it ends over another DQ after they start hitting them over with the masks for no reason. Like, it was a big moment. Like, come on, bro. That was terrible. Then, after another Miz TV segment, why do you have a talk show 2 weeks in a row? Like, you should only have the talk show at least once or twice a month, and not in 2 weeks in a row, especially if it's not going to subsidize any interesting thing to get Damian Priest over. I really don't know who Rhea Ripley is, and she just now won the title at Mania, so very little fanfare. There isn't even vignettes into who is Rhea Ripley. Why did she join the WWE? How did she earn an opportunity for the Raw Women's title and just her showing up on Raw on her first time? None of this is explored. None of these NXT mid carders are explored, and it just makes us feel more underwhelmingly disinterested if you're an outside fan. I don't know who the fuck is Damian Priest. I don't know who in the hell is this she-male top topic Sue Bird looking chick with broad ass shoulders named Rhea Ripley. Oh wow, I'm sorry folks, I'm losing my patience. But this is what I do in nearly half an hour. Guys like Joe Cronin go over legit an hour and a half of this stuff. So literally the Miz and Priest match was okay. I just didn't like the spot when he did a springboard back senton in short range when he's like 6 foot something, man. Like, why is he doing a move like that? DDT, flying clothesline. Maurice gets involved overly twice until it ends with Damian Priest hooking up his rip-off Crossroads for the finish. He's like, oh, I finally got his win back after the handicap match. Where's Morrison, by the way? None of this is explained. The minimal build over the mid card of Miz after he didn't even have an entrance. The former two-time world champion who just lost the title like a month ago. No entrance. That's amazing. Oh God! And then they go over Oscar and Charlotte like literally like shut up, Charlotte, you bitch. Oh, we're going there now. I'd rather her spatter in Japanese because at least it's something she's used to. Oh man! And we had Rhea Ripley coming over with her stupid stomp. Then she comes over getting a chair and she's gonna sit up front because she wants to see the competition. Oh man! If this is what Vince feels like is a majorial draw over your world champion, not even segmenting your own show, what kind of because the female demographic is a dwindling sense over what WWE targets or what pro wrestling targets. I'm not saying that women should not watch the show. It's just not a good business motif if you're not pandering over the majority. They don't want to see hulking 6 foot skinny raw chicken built women coming around main eventing Raw. when you have a buff godlike black guy as your world champion that can literally hop over the top rope and probably kill a man. You're telling me that's less important than these two females wrestling? Like, come on, man. It ends in a second crucifix after a counter over the top rope with Rhea Ripley trying to stop her off hooking the figure eight. A big boot over to the corner. Like the match was subjugated over like under 10 minutes because of the Sheamus Open Challenge segment. It was a segment. It wasn't a match. It ended in an unnecessary brawl. Like, come on, man. This is like a 3 out of 10 territory, and people are lying to themselves. They think Raw is decent at best, because at least you can find something over on average Raw that feels like, oh, I can rewatch this. Even the Alexa Bliss crappy fake jumping mask trying to go over her excuses why she turned over the Fiend, like because she doesn't like everybody with them poorly cropping a fake doll that she known for most of her life to barely even look like it was in contact with her face. It looked so bad, bro. And over the contents that this is the second time, and this and post WrestleMania Raw was going to save them. That's possibly their highest ratings they're going to get, over a 2.3, over getting a 2.03, coming over a 2.5 from last year. Let's be Lesnar. There is nothing special about what happened back at Mania 37. That's why we are declining for post Mania ratings that was supposed to be the highest ratings. There was no superstar shakeup for over 2 weeks now. There is nothing that feels like in the landscape of Raw is important. And people still pretend that a superstar shakeup or another draft is going to change anything. And it just comes over a predictable 50-50 win over to get Asuka just to keep Charlotte in the title scene. Like, I don't care about this feud. Rhea Ripley literally is an anomaly that just lose the title because she already doesn't have a personality for herself. Asuka just feels like the sideshow, and literally Charlotte changes her look for the worst. Like, dude, she looks like her father. Not in her prime though, because that would be a compliment. She looks like her aging, wrinkled father that does crappy lottery ticket commercials for local areas in Carolina. Raw was awful. Please, if you can, change my mind over the comment section. However you see fit, it's your opinion. But I have my own opinions either, and this is my platform. But oh god, this is just bad. Like, there's no rewatchability. The Orton Riddle segments were bad. The T Bar and Mace unmasking was shit. The women's main event was lackluster. Orton, oh god, oh bro, I just I don't want to say that I can't do it, but just recapping the show doesn't even feel like I should be doing because Raw feels like a goddamn chore. But that's it for me. Thanks for watching. More videos coming later in the future. Oh my god. Like, comment, subscribe.